Alright, gods and goddesses in training, welcome back to the channel. It's Uncle Makara with another download today, an incredible transmission. Today we're talking all about the art of character yoga in depth, and we're understanding what it really means to be a character yogi. To understand this art form, I have to take it back towards the origins of Primal Sutra. At one point, I had completely isolated myself from society and allowed myself to really learn from nature and nature itself. And I started to sit underneath trees to meditate. I would start to speak to the animals, or like, let's say I saw a rooster walking by, I would have a conversation with the animal. And there were just all of these moments of synchronicity that I started to notice in my little break from reality. And it was during that time that I actually learned how to channel and connect with my higher self. So I wanted to first begin there, because the real word yoga is to yoke, and the word tantra is to weave. You've got to weave and merge with the character that you truly prefer to be. And that character oftentimes is simply your higher self. It's you amplified. It's you in the future. You got to do yoga in two ways. One way is a building up of the masculine consciousness of discernment, being able to say that this is good and this is evil. You refine the character as you become a warrior, a spiritual warrior as a yogi. So you're going into your internal world to cut, to decide, right? Decide, which means to cut something. Once you're trying to emulate, let's say, a specific character, you can really start to learn your own way of connecting to that specific character. Just like a method actor has all of these tools to understand how I can tap into this very specific role that I'm about to play, I've also trained myself to learn from this acting world. Stanislavski, Stella Adler, Grotowski, Goffman, all of these great, almost scientific, mechanical minds that look at theater, but not only theater, but theater philosophy. Are you like this? Do you find yourself always acting like different people around others? Like around your parents, you're different. Around your friends, you're different. Around your coworkers, you're different. But then there's also this level of an authenticity that emerges from actually wanting to be the character that you truly prefer. And I'm interested in that authenticity. That's what got me to discover my book TPM, also known as the Theatroplasticity Method, looking at the brain as neuroplastic, but understanding that I can change my thoughts, therefore changing my behaviors through a cognitive behavioral model. So I act it till I fact it. I drill it till it becomes a part of me. You can try to access a character and still be completely overwhelmed and stuck in your head. The best way for you to start doing character yoga is practice ego death and practice entering mushin, or zero mind. It is from that thoughtlessness, okay, meaning zero thoughts in the mind, nothing coming up, just a blank slate, tabula rasa. Then you can summon your higher self. You can activate the character who you're trying to step into. It could be a specific anime, it could be from a specific movie. Really, first and foremost, understanding that now that I have the masculine discernment down, I have to practice letting things go that truly do not belong on my journey. I have to start shedding away the parts of my character that do not serve my highest self. You guys get that? So that's how initially this process was revealed to me. Now, in the beginning of my journey of discovering this channeling technology, I got challenged. I got called names. There was a lot of doubt against me. But I held on to what I knew was true and what I know. And that's all you can do. You see what I'm saying? Because the truth will cut through like a diamond. God's kingdom will prevail. We're just the different canvases wanting to cognize, wanting to become this man or this woman or whatever in this game of life. This individual body. You see, I'm not this caramel skin, bearded, Bengali featured behemoth that you see in front of you, okay? Some people are like, that's so cocky. No, the thing is, I'm not attached to it. That's what I'm telling you, right? I'm not attached to this avatar. As I'm not attached to this avatar, I can step into whichever avatar that I truly prefer. And I've made this guy Uncle Makara. I've created and stepped into the role so that I can embody this excellence. You could look at an actor and say, yeah, but that's all fake though. But then how come certain actors get messed up mental health after a very tragic, scary performance or something along these lines? Because they can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy anymore. The lines start to blur, just like in our own lives. If you have a very specific idea of how you think life should be, and the world that you see doesn't match that reality, there's gonna be this invisible disturbance in the force. So the real keys of character yoga is being able to understand the word character, which means to carve. Once you understand that character means to carve something, you can begin to carve the actual greatest version of you. Now, each month we have a different theme in our Pathworking Primal Sutra. You might be very interested in this video. I can teach you more two-on-one, one-on-one in my mystery school, because that's like the Hogwarts of spirituality, okay? It's the spiritual Avengers. It's the Jeet Kune Do of the spiritual process. So if you're interested in that, definitely shoot me a message. Understanding your character is no easy task. You gotta understand your core wound. You gotta understand your Jungian archetype, or female seductive archetype as well, if you're a woman, and male seductive archetype as a man. You've got to know all these different elements of you. Maybe your erotic blueprint, right? Which is different, and it varies from person to person. It might be that you have a different personality style that really helps you gain more clarity and awareness of the character that you're truly preferring to be. So you could, for instance, I'm the outlaw archetype, and I've begun to understand the kind of esotericism that comes from simply observing my own rebelliousness, my own need to want to express myself uniquely or differently. Throughout my life, I've tried to fit in, and when I didn't, I decided to make my own tribe of misfits and create my belonging. You really have to create your belonging and create your inspiration. You can't have your inspiration just be there as a byproduct. So, as we begin to explore this topic more and more, I think we're going to get a lot more epiphanies, a lot more truths, a lot more realizations that are going to be able to come through and really start to share with others what this character work is really about. This character work is all about tapping into your higher self. Sometimes I'll just get a song pop into my head. I'm more of a clairaudient shaman. I work a lot with music and hip-hop, and I've done so for many years as a lyricist, just coming up with different ways to weave words with wordplay and punchline and cadence, all of these words, right? Flow. I began to hear a random song pop into my head. So you can try this practice to connect with your higher self today. Very simple character yoga for beginners, which is do some breath work. Do a minute of that. Hold your breath at the top of the head. Squeeze your perineum or lower abdomen. Just bring all the energy and squeeze it to the top of your head. And then as you exhale out, you say, let go. So you let go of all the stress and you get into a very calm, collected state of mind, okay? And from that calm, collected state of mind, you then ask your mind to give you a random song. You'll get the lyrics or the sound or the vibe of it or the melody. Latch onto something and see if you can play that song. Listen to it and get some guidance. It's good to also do it with protection beforehand. Just stating your good intentions for this practice. And then once you do it, you'll begin to realize why it's so important to keep doing it, right? Because there could be many times where there'll be a doubt that emerges from you embracing your most activated self. There'll be a type of magnetism, as you saw those men immediately looking at me. Because I'm carrying a main character energy within me. I'm allowing myself to embrace and emerge as a character in this video game of life. I am not just the ego or what you see. I'm also connected to the metaphysical realm and these worlds. And I connect with the Fae here in this location, or Yaksha, some people call them, okay? And I always end these walks with a little meditation. So I'm gonna tap in. I hope you guys have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. If you have any more questions about this, shoot me a message. You got this, we got this. Upward Spiral Gang, let's go.